Today I'm coming from Acts chapter 2, verse 1 through 4. And when the day of Pentecost was fully come, they were all with one accord in one place. And suddenly there came a sound from heaven as a rushing mighty wind, and it filled all the house where they were sitting. And there appeared unto them cloven tongues like as of fire, and it sat upon each of them. And they were all filled with the Holy Ghost, and began to speak with other tongues, as the Spirit gave them utterance. The title of this lesson is Tongues as a Second Language. There are some people that have the gift of speaking in tongues, and there are some people that don't have the gift of speaking in tongues. But people go around speaking in tongues like they have this second language. It flows as if they speak in Spanish, French, or Arabic. But speaking in tongues does not come that easily. It is a gift that God has given you, and it comes as He gives you utterance. And people should not go around speaking in tongues, because God is going to give you interpretation when He gives tongues. Let me give you an example that comes out of 1 Corinthians chapter 14, and I'm going to start at verse 22. Wherefore tongues are for a sign, not to them that believe, but to them that believe not. For prophesying serve not for them that believe not, but for them which believe. If therefore the whole church be come together into one place, and all speak with tongues, and there come and those that are unlearned or unbelievers, will they not say they are mad? Then I'm going to jump down to verse 26. How is it then, brethren, when ye come together, every one of you had a song, had a doctrine, had a tongue, had a revelation, had an interpretation, that all things be done unto edifying? If any man speak in an unknown tongue, let it be by two or three, and that by a course, and let it one interpret. But if there is no interpreter, let him keep silent in the church, and let him speak to himself and unto God. God is not the author of confusion, but of peace, as in all churches of the saints. So therefore, if you have the gift of speaking in tongues, and God said that there is no interpreter, He is not going to give you the gift of speaking in tongues in the church or anywhere else. It should not come as easily as Spanish, French, or Arabic. Now, the only time it is acceptable for you to speak in tongues and there is no interpreter is if you're in your prayer closet praying to God and you're speaking in tongues, because that is the language that only you and God understand. But as you speak in tongues in the church, and there is someone there that needs to be edified, God is going to give you the gift of tongues, and He is going to let someone else interpret. It is not of God for you to sit there and speak in tongues, and then there is no interpreter, and you just sit up there speaking in tongues, and then you don't have the gift of speaking in tongues, and you speaking you speaking gibberish. God is looking at you like, what the heck are you saying? Because He knows, and you know, and everybody else knows that you don't have that gift. But when you have the Holy Ghost, that gift comes naturally. So don't speak in tongues if you don't have that gift, and don't speak in tongues if God does not give you the utterance to speak in tongues. Because God is not well pleased. It is time for people to get delivered. It is time for people to get it right in the church. Just because people teach speaking in tongues and start to talk about speaking in your heavy language, don't do it, because it ain't right. I don't care what you've been taught all your life. Because God is not a God of confusion. You got to go beyond tradition. You got to go with what God tells you. You have to get in your word and say what God is telling you. That's why God says, study to show yourself approved unto God, and stop going by what all these pastors and evangelists and deacons is telling you. They don't settle right in your spirit. It is time for you to go. And the only way it's not going to settle right in your spirit is if you get in the word yourself, if you pray yourself, if you go to God for yourself. You have to go to God for yourself. Because on Judgment Day, you ain't going to have your mama, your pastor, your deacon, your evangelist, your church standing in the gap for you. God is going to say, what did you do? Did you get on your knees and pray for yourself? Did you go read the Bible for yourself? Did you go in your prayer closet for yourself? That's why he emphasized that you have to study yourself approved. You have to come to me for yourself. Because they cannot plead your case on Judgment Day. You got to plead your own case. For example, when you go to a courtroom and you have a lawyer, he is a mediator between you and the judge. So therefore, Jesus is the mediator between you and God. So if you was did a work well unto God, then God is going to be mediating for you on God on your behalf. That's the only one that's going to be pleading your case. But you have to plead your case to Jesus like you have to plead your case to your lawyer. Then therefore the lawyer pleads the case to the judge. So when you plead your case to Jesus, Jesus is going to plead the case to God. I am Pastor Evangelist Renee Patterson from New Foundationschurch Deliverance.